Can we talk about kittens and puppies instead? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about Bibles in schools. New meme. So this is a friend of mine posted this on Facebook the other day, and you've heard this line of thinking before, right? It's sadly, you can read a Bible in prison, but not in school. Perhaps if they read it in school, they wouldn't be in prison. This is one of those things. I suspect that this isn't what the poster that the police officer here is holding. I don't imagine that's what it actually said, and somebody just, did some photoshopping magic to it. But this one's kind of infuriating, right? So the first thing is that kids are allowed to read the Bible in school. They're allowed to read the Bible in school. They're allowed to read all kinds of books in school. As a matter of fact, the only books that a kid isn't allowed to read in school are the books that somebody bans because it has themes and images and plot lines that they think are harmful to kids. Perhaps if children were reading those kinds of stories, a sense of empathy would develop, and those kids would grow up with an empathetic heart that would that empathetic heart might keep them out of prison. Well, I don't know. But there's nothing stopping kids from reading the Bible in school. Are they allowed to teach from it? No. Are teachers allowed to teach from it? Well, it depends on what state you are, I guess. But here, in Canada, you can't. No. Right? But the Bible, I guess at the end of the day, the Bible isn't outlawed. And so the basic premise of a meme like this is garbage. Because the Bible isn't outlawed. Therefore, you can't claim that because kids don't read the Bible in school, they end up in prison. However, there's other things to say about this. So we know that kids are pretty malleable. We can help them by teaching them, and we can help them by informing them to grow in the ways that they should grow, to take a line from Proverbs, right? Instruct your children in the ways that they should grow, and they'll never fall off track. But there's other things that we can do that would help our kids as well. Like if you want to help kids avoid growing up to be criminals, well, one of the chief things that studies tell us is to help them, like literally help them to grow up. Not just with instruction, but with food and with after-school care and with access to team and individual sports, access to tutoring, showing a compassionate, offering them a compassionate, safe place to be. These are things that help kids to grow up, to be healthy, vibrant, active members of our society, of our communities. Taking your kid, helping kids to do things, or helping them to do things, giving them an opportunity to give back and contribute to the neighborhood, to the town, to the society, is another great way. Offering them an opportunity to volunteer, to help others out, is a great way of helping kids to grow up to be strong, attentive members of the community. These are good ideas, but it has nothing to do with some imaginary ban of the Bible in schools. I think for the most part, they're put out in order to cause division between Christians and others. It's another way of stoking the identity fire, the identity war fire, right? It's another way of trying to get Christians to believe that there is an opposing persecutional force out there that is lurking behind every corner and every bush, just waiting to jump out and take more of our God-given rights from us, take more of our ability to worship and our ability to pray and our ability to read the Bible. It's meant to, again, the motivation as to why they want this, I'll leave that for somebody else to guess at. But my sense is these kinds of memes, it's the same as, oh, there's a war on Christmas and you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You're not allowed to do that. They've outlawed this. Here in Canada last year it was that army chaplains weren't allowed to invoke God during the Remembrance Day service. And I went to a Remembrance Day service. It was more religious than any church service I had done that week. These ideas, these falsehoods, this misinformation that's being projected through these little pithy memes and these little eye-catching images, it's meant to divide us. And for Christians, if you're listening, don't let anything divide you from the other. Don't let anything divide you from a neighbor. Don't let anything. Don't let fear, don't let your faith, don't let your worship, your religion, don't let your attitude, don't let anything divide you from people. Our call in this life is to go to others, regardless of who they are. It's to provide for others, regardless of who they are. It's to care for others, regardless of who they are. It's to protect others, regardless of who they are. We may find ourselves, as Christians, we may find ourselves in a situation where we are called to be there for someone who absolutely detests the Church Universal and everything that it has ever stood for. We may find ourselves called to take care of someone who is an absolute avowed anti-theist, who hates the notion of a God. And you're still going to be called to be there for them. You may be called to help someone who has done horrible things, to be there for someone who has done awful things. It's still who you are. It's still our purpose. The idea, well, if they didn't stop us from, praying in school, who's they exactly? And what are these memes supposed to make us feel about they? If they allowed the Bible to be read in schools, exactly who is they? Tell me about they. Because when a person reads that kind of thing, they begin looking for they. They begin to grow fearful of they. They begin to become weary of they, angry at they. These memes do not foster, they do not nurture, they do not promote Christian love and Christian charity, Christian understanding. They do not promote Christian perseverance or forbearance. And they have a way of leading Christians to be incredibly harsh, incredibly quick, incredibly unkind. They have a way of convincing Christians of staying behind their walls, cloistering themselves away from they. They are not a positive influence to a Christian. They are not a positive force in a Christian life. Only serve to make Christians afraid of someone and something that isn't out there. Amen.